So I went back to New York for 10 months, and after 10 months, I didn't care how much money I was getting paid. I wasn't going to live in New York anymore.
What hooked you?
It's funny, actually. It took me a long time to understand what it was that I was finding here.
Yeah.
And I've distilled it pretty well now. I can speak about it clearly now. It's the value system, and it's a very specific value system. So every city of humans takes on identities. That's why we think of cities in certain ways.
Okay.
And so the New York that I grew up in is a city that revolves primarily and almost exclusively around money.
And what was that like?
And
what was
well,
that?
it's just, so I mean, New York. So like a common conversation in New York is how much rent you pay. How
Sure.
much you pay a month in rent. It's a very common conversation. That is it's an unbelievable conversation in New Orleans. You would never ever have a conversation in New Orleans. It would be so inappropriate. It would just never happen.
Yeah.
In New York, it's a very common conversation. And so is how much
As a
money
measure.
a person, like it's just a thing that
As
New
kind of
Yorkers
an
think about, right?
implicit measure of status, or,
Right.
or
And so I think that every city has a set of values that are preeminent to the people who, as a kind of broad section. In New York, it's money. In D.C., it's connections. I went to high school outside of D.C., and everybody in my high school I knew exactly whose parents worked for what senators and whose were what kids. So like Colin Powell's daughter went to my high school.
Sure.
That was very clear. Like Anne was clear.
It was made
Her dad
known.
was the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff at the time. So
Yeah.
it was a deal, right? And so everybody knew that. And it wasn't about money. It was really about those connections. In New Orleans, the primary value that people are judged by is how good of a life they have. And it's a very odd thing. So for example,